Hi everyone, I'm Kim Sandkühler and I make music for games. And today I'm gonna show you how I've made the Vane menu, the main Vane main menu track. So Vane is a zombie survival game. I assume that a few of you gonna already have played this game or not. Yeah, it's placed in the state of New York, I think. And I'm just gonna show you like some pictures of it right now, and you're gonna hear the song. As you can see, it's a bit like you have like a lot of forests in it and a lot of nature, but you also have like cities and no people because it's a apocalypse, right? Yeah, so the idea was to incorporate strings, a lot of strings, into the soundtrack and acoustic guitars because like it's like it's like the US, and it's like this part of the US, and it just really sounds like the environment, I guess. So these are the two main elements that are incorporated into the world of Vane, and yeah, I'm gonna show you now the project, talk about it, explain everything that I've did on it, so that you know how this was made. And if you like have any questions about it, just drop it in the comments, ask me on my socials, anything. Yeah, so let's get to it. So this is how the project looks. It's pretty unorganized, but we'll get to it through it together. The first thing that everybody is hearing when he starts the game is this melody. It sounds like this. It's really quiet. It's being played by a flute. This is the plugin that I use for it. It's the BBC Symphony Orchestra. So this melody is being reused throughout of the whole track. Almost all of the melodies are just being made out of this one. And also I use this melody from time to time in some tracks of the soundtrack as well. So maybe you're gonna hear this melody not in the main menu, and now you know why. Because I've tried to make like a little leitmotif for it. Let's get through it a bit more systematic. I have a bunch of string sounds that are layered on top of each other. The reason for that is that it just sounds better than, me putting like the chords into just like one plugin. So these are all of the strings that are playing chords. This part is playing the chords, and this part, from this part on, it's just gonna stay like on the basic chord. It's in E minor, and the chords are E minor, B minor, C major, and E minor. So it's a pretty simple chord progression. It's being played at this part from the strings, and it's also being played from this guitar. This is again a Spitfire audio plugin called Think. It sounds like this. I have an arpeggiator on it, so what this does is that, like, I have, as you can see, all of the notes that are being played are just like long notes here, and then the arpeggiator takes them and put them at eighth note under this kind of playing style. So you have the thumbs and go up and down. Without, it sounds like this. With, it sounds like this. Yeah, then I also have like another string layer. It's shallow, I think. No, it's not. It's a scary string, whatever this is. And it kind of plays some notes that are like complementing. These notes are almost like the bass notes, right? Like, because this is the B chord, this is the C chord, so it's like the ninth. This sounds most of the times nice. And then again, the main note, so it's just like a layer. And then I'm replaying like this melody that we started with. And I have like a bit of a call response here. So the call and response is actually like, this is a call, this is a response, this is a response for the first call, but it's also like a call, and this is again a bit of a response. How I did it is, so maybe let's just look at the flute first. So you have again this main melody, E, C, B, but then to kind of make it a bit more dynamic, I have like these shorter notes in here. And in the next call, that is also a response right here, I have different notes right here. So these notes are going down and these notes are going up. This is like a very simple way to do a call and response. The first time the cello is only playing the first 3 notes, and the second time it also plays like these notes. It kind of gets more energetic in like a very simple way. And the kind of response is this thing that I've written that is like more of an own melody. It's like the second melody of a track and the only second melody of a track. The interesting thing here is that, again, I use the same plugin to play the acoustic guitar, but I have like this equalizer on it, and the equalizer is like cutting the lows and the highs. Without, it sounds like this. Okay, and with, it sounds like this. And I have a spring reverb on it. This is, I think, kind of a bit important because a spring reverb, you would normally use it more on an electric guitar, I think. It kind of really gives it like this kind of crunchy, very basic sound that I wanted to achieve with this track. The other interesting thing production-wise about this is that I put the track playing time a bit forward. The reason was that, you can see it right here in the plugin, when you go here, right, this is the attack time, and you can see it's already at like how fast it can be, the attack, but it was still too slow because it was played with like the flute together, and I wanted it to be unisono and to be like, you know, really tight. So what I did is, you can get onto this button in Ableton, and then you can like put this backwards or forwards in time. I could have made this manually by just taking the MIDI and putting it a bit forward, but honestly, it's kind of a pain to do that and to work with that, so I didn't do that. So the next part of the track is this one, and again, it is the same chord progression, the same 4 chords that I just played very slowly. I have some new elements, like I have this new string sound that is kind of a bit more atmospheric, and that it kind of makes like the part bigger. I think it's like frozen violin or something. Yeah, frozen strings violin. And I have like this string sound that is kind of playing like, yeah, it's pretty high, but it's more like a melody that it's like not, you know, not in the front. It's just gives it a bit more movement from like the chords, because the chords are now a little bit different than they were before. I'm playing right different notes here. And this part is gonna be reused again, I think. So it sounds like this when you have like strings with it on. This just gives it like more movement. So the next interesting thing that happens is this electric bass. It kinda comes almost out of nowhere, but it's also not like too much in the forefront. And it sounds like this. And it doesn't want to play. Okay. This bass again gives it a bit more energy. It moves the track a little bit more forward. It's a digital bass again. Let's unfreeze this. I'm gonna show you. It's a simple contact instrument. It sounds like without the guitar amp plugin, like this. So it's just like a electric bass without anything. And then I've took Guitar Rig, and this is a very nice plugin if you want to emulate a guitar amp or guitar sounds. And I've only used a preset. You have this name right here. And then I've put like, again, a spring reverb on it, and it sounds just like bigger and more washed out. Without the reverb, I think it was just too present in the track. We can hear it maybe. Yeah, it's like day and night. You don't have like that much melodic movement right here. You have a flute that again kind of goes into this melody a little bit by, I think, no, not really. Like it just like plays some notes, but you already have like this melody, so it kind of have a bit of movement, and there's like this new element, and it gets bigger. And I mean, if this is a main menu, this track shouldn't be like too forward. It should put you in the mood of the game. It should put you into the world of the game, and I think this part kind of does it. The other interesting thing about this part is this melody that is played again by the acoustic guitar with the equalizer on, and it sounds like this. So the interesting thing is that it is again built from like this very first melody. It's again the E, C, B, but this time played faster and with again some notes in between to make it a bit more interesting, to give it a little bit more of for movement. So the next part is now this one, and the energy comes down because from this part now on the track stays on E minor. I'm not playing through the chord progression through the whole track, it just stays on E minor. The bass is just staying on E minor. These chords that are being played by the strings are also staying on E minor. They now have like this very slow melody again that kind of plays around the E. This guitar is playing again, and it plays a melody that also came from the very first one we did here. So now it's not E, C, B, it's E, B, F sharp, and it goes on more, but it's, you know, it's again like more of an evolution of this very simple melody. Also, the energy kind of drops at this part because the guitar doesn't play anymore. The guitar was like the thing that mostly drove the track. If you listen to it without the guitar, there's just like no movement, and now you have a movement, right? So it stops right here because I think I didn't want it to be like too much. So this is now the last part of the song. It stays on E minor. The guitar is coming back because I wanted to give it again a little bit of more energy. It only plays the E and the B, so it doesn't even play the third again. These strings are dropping out a bit earlier. These ones are getting automated down by the dynamics, so that it also kind of sounds like a string player would play it more softly. Till the end, the same happens here with the guitar. I have one last time this melody that I've played here at the beginning, but it's played by dulcimer. The dulcimer is actually like an instrument that doesn't belong into the US, I think, because it's like a hammered string instrument. It's kind of like a medieval instrument, and it plays again this melody that has a little bit more of an energy to it. But I think it really fits into the world of the game. And then the track just stops, the instruments are going down, the flute is playing again like the tonic, even these chords are going, have like this kind of resolution, like not the chords, but like the melody has kind of a revolution because it goes from the D to the E. So again, it's like at the basic level. And then the track stops. Yeah, so this is like mostly the composition and production. The track stops right here and it's getting faded out by this utility. So here is the ending, and so you know that I don't have any clicks at the end because like something is still playing. That is kind of important, and I think you could loop this track quite good. I've written it in a way that it could loop quite good, but as of the state of the game right now, it's only being played once when you're in the main menu, but I think this works really well because it just sets the mood right. It doesn't have to be repeated all of the time. I guess generally the music in Vane doesn't get like looped like other games would loop music. A lot of other games that I do loop music, but this one doesn't. So I'm just gonna show you the master chain. This EQ is just boosting like a high shelf. I can give you an example of a part with and without it. So let's choose this one. Without it. Still alright with it. It's a very small amount if you don't hear that. Right now I think it's okay. But yeah. Then I've used this plugin. It's called Ozone. It's a mastering plugin. So I have this equalizer. It's a mid and side equalizer. This is important because this allows you to mono the bass. So you can just see it right here. here you're having like some bass information, but I didn't wanted it to be that wide on the lower levels. Yes, but it's like modeling the bass. This is kind of interesting when you are getting to the part with the electric bass. I can show you with and without it. Without it. With. It's subtle, but I think you can really hear it. Also, I'm pushing the high end here again on the mid and the side and pushing it a little bit different. That also makes it a little bit more crispy in the ears. The next thing is an imager. What it basically does is that it's like a widening plugin, and it kind of creates side information by putting it more on the left and right side a little bit. I'm not quite sure how it works, but you can see you can go up to 100 and it's just at 6.7. So it's again very subtle, but I can turn it on and off for you. And with. It's very subtle, but I can hear it. Yeah, this is the limiter. I'm pushing a bit of the volume into the limiter by 2.4 decibels. I have a threshold quite down, actually. I didn't do anything about the attack and release time because it was fine, and this track isn't that loud, and it's like, you know, it isn't that loud, so it doesn't really get like pushed that much into the limiter, so like almost not. And the last thing that I did is to meter the song. So this is quite important when you are doing projects like games or movies, because you want the music to be like at the same loudness throughout the experience, and you don't want like one track to be like way louder than the next one when you're playing the game, because, you know, who wants that, right? So this is the Ulean loudness meter that I've used, and what I would normally do is that I would, let me just turn this down a bit, that I would just put this on and then check out how high is the short term and how high is the integrated LUFS. What this means is it's like calculates the loudness of like the highs and the lows into it. So like, you know, the lows are perceived way quieter than the high notes. So you kind of have to turn bass up more for it to sound loud, if that makes sense. I don't know. And I do this on every track, also for this project. The main menu is a bit louder than the other tracks because it's the main menu and there's nothing else to do than click on start or check the settings of a game. The last thing in this master chain, it doesn't do anything. I turn this off when I export this stuff, but is a spectrum. This is quite helpful to check how loud the bass is. I do this all of the time in electronic music, because at electronic music, like the bass can be like at -6 or something, and you want to be sure that it's like stays around the same number, you know, so that like one part doesn't have like less bass than the other one. This again isn't that much necessary for this project, but I still do it simply because like this track has bass. You can see it's very quiet here. It's at like -20 dB, but it, you know, it works. It's like how loud a bass would be in the like lower frequencies in real life. So yeah, that's that. Yeah, I think this is everything I wanted to tell you about this track. It's pretty simple again. I think it works in the menu fine. So if you're interested in stuff by me, you can check out my other videos. I did like some other videos where I explained game music and where I showed you how to start a track from the beginning. And yeah, go play Vane. Cheers.